Guys, the dream is kill! Okay, there might be some hope yet. Hello, my fellow sorcerers, and welcome to, well, Season 3, or at least very soon Season 3, but we now know a lot about what Season 3 will contain, and more importantly, about what it will do to us, players of still the best class, and now actually the best class, you could argue, after Season 2, though I guess Barbarians may have just edged in front, but in any case, it still makes me very happy that I can at least now say Sorcerer is an incredible class, unironically. God, I hope we never return to the dark days of pre-season and Season 1. In any case, the bright, happy days of Season 3 are, well, just that, seemingly very bright and happy. There's a few concerns, but for the most part, we're actually getting some really sweet changes that I wanted to talk about and give my thoughts on our seneschal companion and which of the stones actually will work well with us as sorcerers and some combos we might expect to do. So first and foremost, here, our Sorcerer broad stroke class updates. Now, we will be getting full patch notes tomorrow, and of course I will be looking at them straight away, and if there is anything ridiculous, well, I'll be back talking about it. But we did get given the main look out for this to be nerfed and look out for this to be buffed, so assuming that follows through, the actual numbers aren't a huge deal unless they go mentally in either direction, but again, watch this space. For now, we certainly can make some informed decisions about where we should take ourselves build-wise in Season 3. So, Lightning Spear, critical strikes, now the ability to make enemies vulnerable. This is awesome. I was terrified of Season 3 losing a Cursed Touch and Prey on the Weak combo. Having easy vulnerable everywhere as sorcerers was a dream come true, not having to rely on close range, long cooldown. At Frost Nova, we normally have lightning spears going out, especially if you're playing a lightning build like, I don't know, Ball Lightning or Arclash, and even then just having lightning spears an extra cooldown on your bars for barriers and to just send it out and stun everyone, it was a really good skill. Now having it as a range consistent vulnerable applier, that is glorious, and it will make specifically shock builds, but any given build that waxes on this bar much better and more consistent, especially at range. Some buffs to Paragon Legendary nodes. Now that does say plurals, so it's apparently going to affect multiple of them. The only one we know it's going to affect is Elemental Summoner, which is a conjuration skills lower cooldown or lower mana cost, and indeed both Hydra and Ice Blades, and yes, Lightning Spear are all there in the up graph, and I love that they've edited these images for each of the classes. It's such a weird fine line between hello fellow kids and actually quite amusing, and I don't know where I sit on it. In any case, this is kind of exciting because conjuration builds aren't really a thing. Even though we have tried, I still dearly miss original Ice Blades. I'm hoping that Ice Blades buff does mean perhaps they will let us have more out, maybe buff the enchantments so we can actually get a swarm of them. It was so glorious to play like that. In any case, it does look like conjuration might well be on the menu, and that's very exciting. That one will take numbers to tell any further, but it's definitely the right direction. Other Paragon Legendary nodes definitely could use a little bit of a tune-up, as there are quite a few that just sort of get completely ignored, which is definitely a shame. Like, for example, Ceaseless Conduit. I would love an actual crackling energy build where the crackling energy damage is the point. It feels like it's almost possible, but not quite. Then Meteor build is getting some updates, buffs, and by that they mean just literally Meteor is getting buffs. And primarily that's being achieved with the new unique, which is a Meteor unique, which I said is what we needed. I literally made a video like 2 weeks ago talking about sorcerers and what we need, and I said more than anything, my number one, Meteor. We need a Meteor unique, and Meteor needs to hit hard because it's a freaking Meteor. So I am so excited that this is happening. So yes, buffs to Meteor, and we will talk about the unique very soon. But first, as I touched on a little bit ago, Hydra and Ice Blades. Hydra does do decent damage, but you can only have 2 out with the aspect, which kind of is limiting, so hopefully it just gets a raw numbers upgrade if nothing else. And with Ice Blades, as I said, just buff the enchantment, buff how many you can have out at once from the current cap. Just let it be the swarm that it was, because in the face of ball lightning and everything the classes are doing and how powerful we have gotten and the power creep we've endured, having, well, beta Ice Blades would certainly not be that outlandish, and it was so much fun. So, the new unique then, Starfall Coronet. The affixes, maximum life on a helmet, fantastic. Cooldown reduction on a helmet, yeah, mandatory. The ranks of Meteor, I mean, it's a Meteor unique, so this is wonderful. And then the lucky hit, also wonderful, because a Meteor build will want lucky hit. So, yeah, as you would expect, and thankfully, it is perfect affixes on a helmet. And honestly, just the cooldown reduction and the maximum life might make it a good enough helmet until you can find a better one that is going to be used for a different build. In any case, we have ourselves this effect then, and it's awesome. I'm really happy about this. Meteor now has 2 charges with an 11 to 6 second cooldown, so hopefully you get the 6 and you can pop off 2 meteors every 6 seconds. However, this means they now no longer cost mana, so you can't spam them as much, but they are free, which means you can put a different mana spender on your bar and actually weave something in with the Meteor to support it, like, I don't know, Fireball. That would be fun, right? Blasting off your full bar of mana on Fireballs and then dropping your Meteor charges. Generally speaking, the Meteor build and the Fireball build are almost identical. You need the same kind of Paragon boards, the same kind of aspects, they're very sort of overlapping skills. So Big Fire Boom build is looking kind of tasty. But in any case, pure Meteor, we now get ourselves the 3 additional Meteors around the Meteor, and then both the enchantment, the lucky hit chance to drop an extra Meteor, and the enhanced Meteor, which is a chance to drop an extra Meteor, both drop an extra Meteor. So it's entirely possible now, thanks to this helmet, that you can drop the Meteor with enough lucky hit and just, you know, luck, you just get Meteor, 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 Meteor just swarming, and that is what it needs to be, a full Meteor Storm enabling unique. Whether it will be enough to push Meteor build into true spotlight remains to be seen on if they actually numerically tweak up Meteor, but at minimum, it is going to be an endgame viable build that is going to be a lot of fun to play, and I am certainly going to explore it as soon as possible for you guys. This is a really positive change and a positive unique, and I'm very, very happy to finally have something focused on Meteor. Then we get ourselves to the, well, not as fun side of things. A little look at their class balancing ethos, and ultimately they do label Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning is fun and awesome, but if existed for many seasons, Sorcerer players, and, well, the other classes too, would feel pigeonholed into playing those builds. And look, I agree. I love Ball Lightning. It was awesome. It is awesome. But if the best build every season is Ball Lightning, it will get dull, and it will get dull quickly. And you fix that in 2 ways. Nerfing Ball Lightning or making other things stronger than Ball Lightning, or at least as strong. Both of those are dangerous. A Ball Lightning nerf feels bad, but if everything gets buffed to that level, then the power creep is insane, and the endgame becomes so hard to design. Which is why that, yes, Ball Lightning has been labeled as being a little bit too strong. And they are naturally looking at not the raw damage, but enhanced Ball Lightning, the increased attack speed to tick rate, which makes it absolutely melt. And it is a fair place to look. It does carry the skill. I just hope they don't completely kill it, as that would be a shame, but I'm not going to be upset at being able to explore and be powerful with other builds sorcerously. So that's kind of that broad strokes. A lot of solid buffs. Meteor and Conjuration are the main winners, with Lightning Spear getting a nice just little bit of needed utility for us. Ball Lightning looks like it's coming down, and everything else sort of hovering around the same place. It's nothing insane, but it does give us some more options, a new fun build, and hopefully there's still some surprises in the patch notes tomorrow. Now, when we look at our Seneschal and the Governing Stones, there is some very fun possibilities for Sorcerer. We saw them go over how they actually work, and it looks like, yeah, you can literally just put any of the tuning stones into any of the abilities and they will do the thing. So with that in mind then, when it comes to, well, the governing stones themselves, the actual attacks, one that easily jumps out is Focus Fire, a ray of fire that deals damage over time, i.e. fire damage over time, i.e. our best friend as a sorcerer, and why we use the Firebolt enchantment. If this, coupled with some tuning stones, is good enough uptime on fire to let us use a different enchantment, that is absolutely huge. It really is. Protect, of course, is nice if we need any defensives, if there's going to be hard challenges later on, Abattoir of Zerli, and then the Tempest also looks quite fun if we want to play into Super Lightning. It also depends what this Flash of Adrenaline buff actually is, but in terms of the governing stones themselves, what we really care about is which one lets us most consistently apply tuning stone buffs to enemies, not so much their raw damage, really. We just want the most mechanically often up AoE blanket everything for the tuning stones that are really, really excited. So volume of support is great, increase the size of the skill, ergo it hits more enemies more of the time. That's really, really nice. But then we have ourselves tactical support to, well, make our now bigger skill happen more often. That might be a nice little combo for consistent uptime for the following. Frigid support applies cold damage over time. This lets us use Hoarfrost, lets us use our extra multiplicative damage to chilled and frozen enemies, even not in a frost build. That's really good. Burning support does do the fire dot with the skills. So if we have the channeled fire skill and burning support, we might actually get ourselves enough consistent uptime on fire to not use the enchantment, as I said, which is a massive increase for us and essentially generates a third enchantment slot like we've been asking in a roundabout way. Past that then, we have Electrocution to stun enemies. Sorcerer very much likes damaging CC'd enemies, so that's nice, so we have lots of ways to do that ourselves. Then we have to look at Poison and Dusk support. Poison damage and Shadow damage. If these actually proc Telrash's unique ring, then we're in business. There's no doubt in my mind both of these will be mandatory. That is your extra 2 stacks, taking you to 5 stacks, which is more than we could even have in Season 2. That is amazing. It depends if it counts enough as your damage to actually activate it. It's one of the first things that I will test as soon as I have both to test, but it is a big, big possibility. Then resource is going to be nice earlier on, just to give you more mana to use things, but that becomes a sort of non-issue later on. And then you have just other kind of generic ones that might end up being nice, like the Mockery to taunt enemies if you're having trouble dying. Or, to be fair, one active I really do like is the auto defense to block projectiles if you are playing a closer arc lasher ball lightning. That would be really, really good. Then, lastly, the main thing that I think is particularly quite tasty is the actual pull-in in gripping support. Damage and effects done by the support skill pull distant enemies to the construct, which is next to you, and it can occur once per 10 seconds per enemy. So if you are playing Ball Lightning or Arc Lash or a close range build, getting consistent pull-ins outside of your teleport with Raiment is really good, especially if you're doing content where you can't afford to be as squishy as Raiment makes you. So to me, we get fire damage over time, poison, shadow, pull-ins, and we're kinda laughing. I'm very, very excited for this thing and coming up with the optimum ways for us to use it. So that's kind of that then. That's my thoughts on Sorcerer so far from what we know with Season 3. A lot of you have been asking, and I hope this has been interesting. We really do have a lot to work out and have fun with, and I am actually, honestly, really excited to theorycraft for you guys. For now then, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a good Bye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.